everyone. Thanks for joining me this evening. I'm Autumn, the Education Coordinator from Studio 23. Today I thought I would do a different sort of project than the regular children's projects that I do. I thought that I would show you how to make your own card and envelope. I have some examples here. I thought this would be nice because this is the time of year when we have like graduation cards and things like that that we need to send out. And with everything going on, we might not always have access to a store to cards. So I thought, well, what a great idea. You can easily make your own. So for supplies for our cards, I'm using 2 pieces of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, but you could obviously use paper if that's what you have access to. I'm also going to use a piece of scrapbook paper that's 12 by 12, but again, use what you have access to. I'm going to be using some scissors. I'm going to be using a glue stick or glue. And then to do the decoration on the front of the card that I have right here, I'm going to be using a jelly plate and a brayer and acrylic paint. But if you don't have that, you could definitely create something with watercolors, any kind of decorative stickers, stamps. You could honestly just paint or draw something on there too if you wanted to. Okay, so to get started, we're going to start with the actual card itself, okay? And for that, what you want to do is you want to fold one piece of your 8.5 by 11 paper or cardstock or whatever you have in half, okay? And then we're going to make sure we have the fold line at the bottom. And we're going to go in and I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to cut, or I'm going to mark, I should say, 1.5 inches from the left-hand side. Okay, and then make a line. And then from the top, I'm going to go in, the top of the paper, you're going to go in 1/2 inch. And then create another line. All right, so that's going to be your template for your card so far. And you can go ahead and cut that right out. I have one right here that's nicely pre-measured, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. All right, easy enough, right? We have our card. All right. Now, the design itself, if you saw the original, is not done on an actual card. It's done on a piece of cardstock that I've actually placed on top of the card. So then from there, what you're going to want to do is take another piece of cardstock or paper, and you're going to want to measure that out to be 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. And that is what we're actually going to be putting the design on. And then that design is going to go on top of our card. All right. So if you've never used a jelly plate before, I recommend checking them out. They're really fun. They're really cool to play around with. They're nice to print with. If you've ever watched any videos with Val for the studio, I feel like you had to have seen them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on here and bray it out. And then I'm going to use some stamps that I have. I had these fun little leaf shaped stamps, and I'm just going to use these. But again, if you don't have access to a jelly plate, you could just as easily use watercolor paints. You know, and don't be ashamed to go and grab like the kids' watercolor paint. Crayola actually has some great pigment and works fantastic. So, all right, we got that. And I think I'm going to go in with my leaf pattern. And I'm just going to start taking away some of that paint with my leaf pattern. think that's good. So then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take my paper, I'm gonna put it right on top. Smooth it out. And I'm starting to get a design on there. I've picked up that leaf print on there. And I could go in with another color if I wanted to. First, I'm gonna go ahead and do a ghost print, like Vale always says. Do a ghost print so you can get the excess off. And you might get something cool. And then you can go in with another color. And I think I'll go in with this blue. And you just need a little bit. And I'm not even gonna clean my brayer, I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. And it's probably gonna make a sort of green color, but I'm fine with that. Get it rolled out. And then I think I'm gonna go right back in with my leaf again. And just keep making that leaf pattern. All right, good enough. So now I'm going to take my same paper, lay it down. All right, and I've got this nice little patterned, textured background. All right, so I'm going to let that dry, and we'll use that again in a little bit. And normally this would be the time where I would clean off my jelly pad. So if you're using one of these, make sure you clean it off. The sooner the better, as I've learned. All right. So while we're gonna let that dry, and we will move on to the envelope. So for the envelope, what you're gonna wanna do is, let's see. I'm gonna use this, like I said, this 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, but again, use any paper that you have access to. All right, and what we're gonna do is you're gonna fold the paper in half, and I'm folding it with the pattern inside because the pattern inside is what I want, that's what I want to be on the inside. I want the white on the outside so you can see an address. So I'm gonna fold my paper in half, but I wanna leave about 3/4 of an inch on top because that's gonna be our little flap on top of our envelope. All right, so just like that, I'm gonna fold it right in half. All right, so from there, I'm gonna take my card that I made, not the piece that goes on top, but the actual card, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place the folded card against my fold line on my scrapbook paper, and I'm gonna try and leave about a 1/2 inch border all the way around, because we're starting to make our envelope, right? So about a 1/2 inch all the way around, and then I'll use my ruler so I can get a nice straight line. I'm just gonna go ahead and go in. Oops, there we go. Make a line. All right, and then you can cut off that excess if you want. Oops. Just so it's a little easier to work with, entirely up to you. All right, so this is the basics of our envelope, right? Okay, so then from there, you're going to put your card back down on your envelope, just like you did, and you're going to draw around your card and add what we call tab lines. And the tab lines are gonna be what's folded in to glue your actual envelope together. All right, so let's see. We'll go in. All right, got my lines. So that, if you can see there, I've got my lines around there. To make my tab lines, I should say. Okay. And then since our tabs, we don't want them to, we want to cut away the corners because that's going to be excess that we don't want. So you can just cut it away if you want, or you can use your ruler if you want to be very precise. I'm just going to cut it away, cut my corners, because we don't want the bulky excess. All right. And I have another one here that I have all ready to go. So I am just going to cut. Cut away the corners on the top and on the sides. And I will put the directions for the envelope in the comments in case it's something you wanted to go back to. So that's where we're at with our envelope, okay? So then from there, we want to cut off our tab lines, but only on the back of our envelope, which this will be the back of our envelope. We don't need those tab lines, we only need them on the front. So we're gonna go ahead and just the back of the envelope, we're gonna cut away these tab lines. All right. So if you're doing it right, it should look something like this, okay? Then from there, we're going to put our card in our envelope to make sure it fits, and then we're going to fold over these tab lines. We're simply going to fold right over. Just like that. And if we put our card in there, then we know for sure that it's going to fit when we're done. All right. So we know it's going to fit because we have our card in there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll just put some glue down on the sides. Don't worry about that top just yet. We're going to let that dry. All right. There is our homemade envelope. And like I said, I will put directions for that in the comments for anyone that's interested. So I think our card that's going on top of our actual greeting card should be dry by now. Yep, it feels pretty dry. So we're gonna decorate it. And I thought it would be fun to do this graduation card just because I know this is the time of year where it seems like we're always running out to grab graduation cards and send them out, right? So, I have these cool little stamps that I'm using, but you could honestly, if you look close enough, this looks like it could honestly be drawn out. So I think if you don't have any kind of stamps, I think go right ahead and draw it out and, you know, have some fun with it. All right. So I'm gonna take one of my birds here, and I'm going to turn him into a graduate. So let's see. Got my ink pad. All right. Got my little bird on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and go over him with a little bit of a black pen, just so he's nice and dark. If you're looking specifically to do this with stamps, you can find a ton of different kinds of stamps online. You could even probably find some for graduation. I think it's kind of fun to get creative though and add the graduation cap to a stamp that maybe you never would have thought to add it to. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to me. But we're gonna get this drawn out really quickly. And luckily this this stamp kind of has a bit of a scribbly look to it, so that helps me. All right, there's our bird. We got our bird. And then I'm gonna draw a little tree, still using my pen, a tree and a branch. And I'm just gonna do thick line going down. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm just doing a thick line going down to probably about the bottom of his feet. And then I'm gonna bring it out so my bird has something to stand on. So he has a little branch to stand on. And then I'm gonna do the bottom of the branch. And I'm kind of scribbling this because that kind of goes along with my stamp, and I kind of like the look of it. So I'm gonna keep scribbling it, okay? So I got my tree. I might scribble, I don't know, maybe some tree texture and design into it. I'm gonna get creative with it. I think it's super fun when you have these kind of scribbly looking things you can do. I think you can do so much with it, so. All right, there's my bird. There's my tree that I just drew with it. And then from there, I think, let's see, let's give him a little graduation cap. Now, if you're really worried, a graduation cap, really, if you separate it, is like a half circle, that's the part that sits on the head, and then a diamond shape that sits on top of that. So if you break stuff down into shapes, it's always so much easier. So if you're really worried though, and you find something that you can trace that's circular, if you're really worried about it. I'm always looking through like packaging and stuff that I'm gonna throw away for shapes that, you know, that help me trace stuff out when I'm in a hurry. So you can do something like that, or you can just go for it and make a circle. You know, always just go for it. Okay, but here's the half circle on top of his head, and then we're just gonna do a diamond shape on top of that. And again, it's kind of that scribbly look, but I like it. I think it looks good. Now you could color in the graduation cap a different color if you wanted. You could color it in, you know, maybe a red or a blue or whatever color maybe their cap and gown are. Completely up to you. I'm just gonna color it in black. I'll keep it pretty simple. But now my bird, his little graduate, he's got his cap. We can even give him a little tassel if we want. Let's see. I think I'll have it come off the back. And I'll just do a line coming off the back, a circle, and then some rounded lines for the bottom for the tassel. Super easy. So there's his cap and his tassel, okay? Now, from there, you're gonna want to attach this to your card, right? You could, if you had stamps that have words on it or something like that, you could use something like that. I had a stamp that says, wow, for the ones that I did. But you could very easily just write it yourself. I don't think that would be hard at all. You could have it say wow, you could have it say congratulations. I mean, literally whatever you want. This is the time to get creative. So I think I'm just gonna handwrite it, and I'm just gonna have it say congrats, I think. All right, pretty simple. And now if you want to get fancy with it, if you have little things in your house, like here for the eye, if you can see closely, I put a little gemstone for the eye. If you have little bits and baubles around your house like that, that's something you could definitely do with it. And then for the inside, You just want to put some kind of little message, and like, so here with stamps, I had letter stamps and I just put, you did it, right? Super easy. And then you're ready. You have your card, you have your graduation card, you have your envelope ready to address. Hopefully you're gonna put some money or something for that graduate in there. I'm sure they're gonna need it. And you have made yourself a homemade graduation card for all of the 2020 graduates in your life. So that is my project for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I will put the instructions to the envelopes, it's step-by-step instructions, in the comments. So if it's something you really wanted to take your time on and go over, you could absolutely do that. Otherwise, that's it for me today. I'll see you tomorrow. Myself and Sue will be out at the studio making a chalk mandala on the sidewalk, and we'll teach you how to do that with the kiddos. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.